Welcome back to the deep dive. So, Wrestle War, RCW's first year finale, it's done. It's in the books. And yeah, we saw King keep his world title. Lily Sunshine is still the women's world champ. LJ Hernandez held onto the U.S. belt. And Michelle Diaz, she walked away with the women's heritage championship. Big nights for all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the names that go down for year one, right? The
Yeah.
champions. But, if you really follow this stuff, if you're deep in it like we are, the gold isn't. It's not the whole picture, is it?
Not even close. Titles are like the headlines, but the real story, the stuff that builds the foundation for everything that comes next, the emotional drivers, the power plays that dictate who gets the next shot that happens in those personal feuds, the ones without belts on the line.
Exactly. That's where the real drama is forged. The blood, the
Yeah.
sweat, the respect or lack thereof. That's what keeps you hooked week to week. And it tells you where the power is really shifting in that locker room.
Couldn't agree more. So that's our mission today. We're going to dive deep, really deep into the source material, looking at the Wrestle War fallout beyond the champions. We're talking rivalries, those unexpected team-ups, the make-or-break moments for wrestlers fighting just for momentum, just for respect.
Yeah, we're looking for those little clues, those nuggets of insight.
Mhm.
The thing that really signal who's moving up, who's falling back, and who might just blow the whole thing up in year two.
Right. Who's got that volatile potential? Who's going to rewrite the script? And I think the best place to start is probably that huge clash, the one that defines so much of the mid-card,
Yeah.
the War of Respect.
Oh, yeah. The A-listers versus, well, basically the soul of RCW. Right?
Pretty much. And the start of it all, it's like classic wrestling booking, but with a very modern influencer twist. You've got corporate arrogance personified against pure old school experience.
It all spins around Anthony Hogan. The sources are really clear on this. He walks in, gets the biggest contract in the company. Apparently, he's this internet guy. 0 pro wrestling matches under his belt. 0. And he immediately starts calling himself the MVP. The level of disrespect right out of the gate was just staggering.
And it wasn't just general arrogance either. He was specific. He went after the guys who built their careers on the independent scene, calling them indie wrestlers like it was an insult, Said they were losers who couldn't make it to the mega show level he represented.
Which put him immediately, directly, on a collision course with Warlord.
And Warlord isn't just some guy. He's the embodiment of that experience Hogan was mocking, 23 years in the business?
3 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Champion all over the world. You look at his History Club UK, known for that gritty traditional style, and PWJ in Japan. That's the home of strong style. This guy has professional wrestling respect. He's lived a life Hogan was making fun of.
So naturally, things got heated fast. The big flashpoint, everyone remembers it, was the Game Changers press conference. Hogan's running his mouth, disrespecting the history, the athletes. Warlord steps up.
And Hogan slaps him. Slaps a multi-time world champion across the face. Just unbelievable audacity.
That slap wasn't just an insult to Warlord. It felt like an insult to the entire business, to the locker room code. Hogan basically saying, my celebrity, my money, makes me untouchable.
And he quickly found someone who kind of vibed with that attitude, didn't he? Deshaun Williams. Super athletic guy, definitely a heel. But his focus was more on making RCW this big, glossy mega show. They clicked.
Became the A-listers. And then they brought in Mike Hudson later on, which added another layer entirely.
Right, because Hudson's history is complicated. He was friends with Sebastian Wolf, rivals too, for years. But the sources, they hammer this home. Hudson joined purely for the paycheck Hogan offered. Cash over loyalty, cash over history. It's cynical, but it fits the A-lister brand, right?
Yeah.
Purely transactional.
Which forced management's hand. General manager Max Stone couldn't just let this slide. This wasn't just wrestlers feuding. It was undermining the whole company structure.
So he creates this specific match, kind of unprecedented, to deal with them. It was punishment, really, for how the A-listers manipulated things to get Deshaun a world title shot he hadn't earned.
The Riot match at Doomsday. 3-on-3, no DQ, falls count anywhere. Basically, sanctioned chaos.
Exactly. And the teams told the whole story, didn't they? You had the A-listers, Deshaun, Hogan, and their hired gun, Hudson, and facing them. The veteran team, LJ Hernandez, Warlord, and Sebastian Wolf.
Now, hold on, though. Wolf had just lost the U.S. title to LJ Hernandez. So how unified was that veteran team, really? Was Wolf just trying to stay in the spotlight while he figured out his next move?
That's a fair question. But I think the sources lean towards it being a necessary alliance, like a defense of the code. Wolf and LJ might have been rivals for that belt, sure, But Hogan's whole attitude, his disrespect, that was a threat to both of them, to the whole culture they came from. It was about protecting the locker room's integrity.
Setting aside personal issues for the greater good of the wrestling code, essentially.
Pretty much. And it worked, didn't it? Despite all the A-lister hype, despite hiring Hudson, they got taken apart in that riot match.
Systematically, Hogan was the first one out. LJ Hernandez hit him with that murder suplex, talk about a message sent from a relative newcomer upholding the veteran standard.
Then Hudson got neutralized. Took both Wolf and Warlord working together to put him down.
And finally, LJ got the pin on Deshaun Williams. A clean sweep for the veterans. Total defeat for the A-listers and their whole philosophy.
And this is crucial, it didn't actually end the beef between LJ and Deshaun. That was way more personal, remember. Deshaun mocking LJ's past, his criminal record.
Yeah.
That ran deep. Losing the riot match just poured gasoline on that fire for Deshaun.
Which led straight to their U.S. title match at WrestleWar, where LJ retained. So the faction lost, but the individual hatreds just got stronger.
Exactly. And that brings us to the big singles match we were all waiting for. Hogan versus Warlord at WrestleWar. Hogan's first ever one-on-one match in RCW.
After months of ducking and dodging right, he finally had nowhere to hide, had to face the ultimate gatekeeper.
And Warlord handled him. Won the match decisively, shut down the self-proclaimed MVP in his singles debut.
But the really interesting part, I thought, was what Warlord said afterwards. He wasn't just like, get out of my ring.
No, not at all. That's what makes it fascinating. He actually acknowledged Hogan had some talent. But then, the qualifier. He needed respect beating into him. Classic wrestling.
And then he challenged him, said Hogan had to take the pain, come back, and earn a bit of my respect.
That's the old school way, isn't it? Initiation through suffering. Warlord isn't trying to bury Hogan. He's trying to make him into something legitimate, something real. He's offering a path, but it's a hard path.
Yeah.
Hogan has to choose. Embrace the wrestler's way or stick to being a celebrity-playing wrestler.
Huge question mark for Hogan's future. But in the immediate aftermath of WrestleWar, things took another twist, didn't they? Hogan and Deshaun both lost their matches.
Yeah, they're found backstage in the physician's room, licking their wounds, probably blaming everyone but themselves.
And then, boom, Samuel Parker walks in.
Oh man, yes, Samuel Parker, the undisputed future, the inaugural U.S. champion, super egotistical heel. He strolls in right when they're at their lowest point and tells the cameras, get out.
That's not just adding a member. That felt like a takeover.
It absolutely signals a massive shift. What does someone like Parker, a proven winner, a former champion, bring to a group defined by Hogan's unearned hype and Deshaun's frustrations?
Credibility. Legitimacy. Parker lost the U.S. title to LJ, yeah, but he held it dominantly for months. Hogan has the money, Deshaun has the athleticism, but Parker knows how to win championships. He's got the pedigree.
Exactly. This means the A-listers stop being this sort of sideshow act based on Hogan's influencer status. They become a potentially dangerous, focused championship hunting unit. Hogan and Williams, you have to think, now answer to Parker.
Parker doesn't care about being famous online. He cares about gold around his waist. Now he's got Hogan's resources and Williams's physical tools to help him get it back. The goal shifts entirely. It's not about being stars. It's about using Parker's know-how to seize power.
And think about the optics for Max Stone, the GM. His big punishment, the riot match, suddenly looks pretty ineffective if the losers regroup under a stronger leader and become an even bigger threat in year 2. They basically turned failure into a strategic advantage.
That's a direct challenge to the GM's authority and the company's stability right there.
Okay, so the men's side, it's all about this ideological battle potentially morphing into a focused hunt for gold under new leadership. Let's switch over to the women's division because the non-title stories there felt different, more personal, darker maybe.
Definitely darker in some cases. And yeah, very focused on individual journeys and brutal conclusions. Separate from Lily Sunshine holding the world title, we absolutely have to start with Daya Baby Babe. Her year 1 arc was, wow, compelling, but also kind of tragic.
She was always that underdog, right? The one everyone rooted for, Miss Money in the Bank winner.
Yeah.
But she just couldn't get over the hump, failed cash-in against Brittany Ali.
Multiple big losses after that, too. Just couldn't crack that ceiling, and it was clearly getting to her. That backstage moment after she lost to Ali again at End of the Line, that felt pivotal. The sources said she was sulking with tears, and she actually said it out loud. Every time I fail, I have to change.
That line is huge. I have to change. That signals she's willing to sacrifice who she is, that determined, fan-favorite underdog, just to finally get some wins. That's desperation.
And desperation attracts certain influences.
Enter Willow the Witch. Total enigma. Dark promos, cryptic messages, absolutely lethal in the ring. And crucially, she wasn't chasing titles. She was seen just watching Jaya Baby Babe, lurking.
Stalking almost.
Yeah, and Willow was blunt about her goal. She said she wanted Jaya Baby Babe's soul.
The soul. Not a contract, not a spot in a faction. Her soul. What does that even mean in a wrestling context?
I think it means she wants to extinguish that light, that underdog hopefulness.
Yeah.
She wants to corrupt Jaya Baby Babe's core identity, that resilience that the fans love. It's not about wins and losses for Willow. It's about transformation, but twisting that determination into something dark.
Control and conversion. Taking the ultimate babyface and turning her into something else.
And we saw the visual proof at Wrestle War, didn't we? Willow beats Jaya Baby Babe in their match. Afterwards, Jaya Baby Babe just ignores everyone, walks straight past the media, heads down this dark hallway.
Where Willow was just waiting for her.
Waiting. And they left together. The symbolism is unmistakable. The underdog walking willingly into the shadows.
So the big question for year 2, is this a full-blown heel turn? Is Jaya Baby embracing a darker gimmick, mentored by Willow, to finally achieve the success that always slipped through her fingers?
All signs point that way. The underdog persona failed her. This alliance seems built on a spiritual shift towards villainy, maybe finding power in darkness. It has this really unique, character-driven heel element to the women's division that isn't just about climbing the rankings.
Fascinating potential there. So while Jaya Babe seems to be descending into darkness, another major non-title feud reached a brutally definitive end. Brittany Ali versus Sarah Kay.
Yeah, that was intense all year. Ali, the veteran, two-time champ, technical wizard. Kay, also a former champ, but more of a manipulative striker. Their rivalry just escalated and escalated.
Culminating in the ambulance match at Wrestle War.
Which was absolutely brutal. Ali got the win, put Kay in the ambulance, but it wasn't just a gimmick match win, it was violent. Kay was legitimately taken to a local hospital afterwards.
The win felt secondary to the level of aggression, didn't it? And Ali's reaction afterwards really underlined that.
Totally. Backstage, she wasn't talking about getting back in the title hunt immediately or celebrating the win. She made a statement. She declared herself the most dangerous woman in RCW, told everyone, be afraid of Ali.
That's a huge character shift for her, right? She started the year maybe a bit cocky, but focused on her technical skill. Now, after going through the wars, especially with Kay, she sounds different, more vicious.
It feels like she's embraced a harder edge. It's not just about out-wrestling people anymore. It's about dominating them, hurting them maybe. Survival has made her more predatory.
And how does that change her potential challenge to the current champion, Lily Sunshine? Lily's all about positivity, athleticism, that bright persona. A newly dangerous, aggressive Brittany Ali is a completely different kind of threat for her.
It makes Ali a much darker, more credible foil.
Yeah.
It's not just about winning the belt back. It feels like Ali might be willing to tear down Lily's whole Sunshine narrative to get there. That adds serious menace to the top of the card.
Okay, one more women's rivalry to touch on, the one that felt defined by frustration. Christy Owens versus Rebecca Welch.
Oh, yeah, Christy Owens. You could feel her frustration building all year. She kept saying it, right? Constantly stuck in multi-woman matches, feeling like she was just there to make others look good. I will not be a stepping stone. Not anymore.
She's got that brawler power, that intensity, but she kept running into Rebecca Welch. And Welch is, well, she's Rebecca Welch. Two-time champion, MMA background, submission machine, a top-tier competitor.
They had a couple of key matches. Christy actually beat Rebecca at end of the line, but it was by countout.
Yeah.
Just to sneak into the Royal Rumble spot. More about survival than dominance.
Right. And then at Doomsday, they had the rematch, no holds barred.
And Rebecca won that one decisively. Put Christy away.
So even with the rules thrown out, even when Christy could brawl freely, Rebecca, the submission expert, adapted and got the definitive win.
It kind of proves the hierarchy, doesn't it? Christy is tough, she's angry, she's dangerous, but Rebecca is operating on that slightly higher level. She can handle the chaos and still come out on top.
Which probably means Rebecca's focus shifts back towards the bigger picture, like that Heritage title match she was in, while Christy is still stuck in that frustrating spot just below the main event scene.
Exactly. Christy Owens remains this really volatile, powerful force in the mid-card, fueled by that anger and frustration. She's going to be a major obstacle for anyone trying to move up in year 2. A gatekeeper, but an explosive one.
Okay, so we've looked at the faction warfare, the dark paths. Let's talk momentum. Wrestle War wasn't just about settling scores. It was also about launching new contenders, right? People who scored big wins even without titles involved.
Absolutely. And the name to the top of that list has to be Rey Munoz. El número uno.
He already showed what he could do, pushing King, the world champion, to the limit in that casket match at Fright Night. That was incredible.
But beating Scorpion at Wrestle War, that was huge. Scorpion is the inaugural RCW World Champion, a legend. Beating him clean in what people called a classic Lucha Striker match. That's instant main event credibility.
It felt like more than just a win, too, like a symbolic passing of the torch, maybe? Scorpion represents that established, respected style, and Munoz is the newer, maybe more hybrid, athletic generation.
Could be. And Munoz certainly acted like it was a major step. His comments afterwards were crystal clear. He respected Scorpion, called him uno de los mejores luchadores aquí, one of the best here, but said that win was just the first step.
His goal, the RCW World Championship. No messing around, straight to the top.
But what I loved was Scorpion's reaction. He didn't storm off bitter. He came back, confronted Munoz, shook his hand, but then warned him, our paths will cross again.
Instant high-stakes rivalry right there, based on respect, but intense competition between two absolute top-tier guys that could produce some amazing matches, whether the title's involved or not.
And it ripples out, too. LJ Hernandez, the U.S. champ, even said he wants a piece of Munoz, said the Lucha fans want that match. He acknowledged Munoz is gunning for the world title first.
But if Munoz doesn't get King right away, that LJ versus Munoz match suddenly becomes maybe the biggest non-world title feud you could book in year 2.
Definitely. The potential there is massive. Speaking of the U.S. title, though, LJ might have finished his business with Deshaun, but man, that division is absolutely stacked with sharks circling him now.
No kidding. He doesn't get a breather at all, does he?
Not a chance. Look who's waiting. DJ Yamashita, the high flyer. Lost to LJ at end of the line, showed respect, said better wrestler won, but immediately pivoted. Saw the Royal Battle as his next chance. His goal is still firmly locked on that U.S. championship. He brings speed and that innovative offense.
Then you've got the opposite end of the spectrum. Tucker Reeves, the powerhouse. Methodical, relentless. He's been targeting that U.S. belt since day one. Sees it as his path to the world title. He's the grounding force, the brute strength.
And don't sleep on Isaiah Price. Another high flyer, often teams with Yamashita, similar style, but maybe a bit more unpredictable, adds another aerial threat.
Plus the wild card, Caleb Morrison.
Yeah, Morrison. Lost to Wolf at Fright Night, but since then he seems to have really leaned into this focused, nasty heel persona. He's got the brawling, but also serious technical skill he uses to just grind people down.
So LJ, the champion, is looking at 4 completely different styles of challenger right off the bat. Reeves is power, Yamashita and Price are speed and air. Morrison is this technical, vicious heel. It's a minefield.
It's going to be a nonstop defense for him. The U.S. title scene is maybe the most competitive, diverse division in the whole company heading into year 2. Every match will be a different kind of test.
Okay, so established contenders are lining up. What about the newer faces? The game changers who arrived later in the year or maybe didn't get a huge spotlight immediately.
Right, the ones whose year 1 wasn't about specific feuds yet, but about establishing themselves as top-tier talent, ready to challenge for world titles right away.
Like Johnny Hollywood, the rock star.
Yeah, debuted in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
All about the spotlight, the showmanship. Said he's making RCW his residency. Fans love him, but beneath the flash, there's real in-ring talent there. He wants big matches on big stages.
Then there's Jackie Blade, the hardcore brawler.
Her story's interesting. Signed after apparently giving up on her wrestling dreams, then immediately jumps into the Royal Rumble aiming for the world title. And her background is serious BCW hardcore champion. That means she thrives in violence. Joshi Japan World Cup winner. That means she has legit technical and striking skills from arguably the toughest women's circuit.
That's a scary combination. Hardcore toughness plus Japanese strong style. That's a unique threat for someone like Lily Sunshine.
Absolutely. And finally, Shelley Clark, the superstar. Her arrival was delayed, but she came in promising 5-star matches. Another Joshi Japan World Cup winner, twice actually. Her style is powerhouse, strong base, but with surprising speed and impact.
So what connects these 3, Hollywood, Blade, Clark, is pedigree, right? They haven't been bogged down in the year 1 RCW feuds. They're coming in fresh, with established reputations from elsewhere, aiming straight for the top based on performance.
Exactly. They're not joining factions or settling old scores within RCW yet. They are elite performers demanding elite competition. Their focus on delivering those 5-star matches and grabbing the spotlight forces everyone else, including the champions, to raise their game. They inject fresh blood and new potential rivalries right at the top.
They're the wild cards, the unknown variables coming into the established ecosystem. They could disrupt everything for King and Lily just by being that good.
It all adds up, doesn't it? You've got the potential implosion and rebuilding of the A-listers, Munoz surging towards the main event, the dark character shifts with Davey Babe and Ali, this incredibly deep U.S. title scene, and now these elite game changers arriving. Year one's relative stability feels like a distant memory.
Yeah, the pieces are definitely scattered now. So let's try and wrap this up. We've gone through the non-title landscape after year one, digging into those crucial power shifts and personal stories.
We saw the A-listers hit rock bottom, but potentially find a much more dangerous path forward with Samuel Parker possibly taking the reins. That changes their whole dynamic.
We saw a Baby Babe seemingly embrace the darkness, walking away with Willow the Witch, which points to a major character overhaul for her, likely a full heel turn.
Rey Munoz scored that landmark victory over Scorpion, positioning himself as the next major challenger for the world title. And Brittany Ali, she shed her purely technical skin and emerged from her war with Sarah Kay as something far more aggressive and dangerous.
All of this shakes up that top tier that felt pretty consistent through year one, especially with King and maybe Rebecca Welch being such constant forces near the championships. Now the pressure is coming from all angles, and often from unexpected places.
The first year, you kind of knew who the main players were going for the titles. King, Rebecca, Lily, Ali. It felt somewhat predictable, even if the matches were great. But now, the conclusion of these feuds, the rise of new threats, the potential reformation of factions, it feels wide open.
The focus isn't just on who has the belts anymore. It's about the sheer number and variety of dangerous, motivated people coming for those belts or just looking to cause chaos.
The non-champions, the ones fighting for respect, for momentum, for identity in year one, they're the ones holding the keys to the chaos of year two. The stability is definitely gone.
Okay, so here's the final thought, the question for you to really mull over as we head into RCW's second year. Looking at everything we've discussed for this, Ali's new vicious streak, Willow's manipulative influence over Baby Babe, Munoz's meteoric rise, the potential powerhouse A-listers led by Parker, maybe even Christy Owens' boiling frustration, which of these non-champion forces? Which individual or faction or dark alliance do you think is positioned to cause the most disruption? Who's going to be the agent of unpredictable chaos that completely upends the hierarchy we saw solidify in year one?
Welcome, everyone, to this special deep dive. We're zeroing in today, just for you RCW fans, on the U.S. Championship. Specifically, its first year.
Yeah, we're going to really analyze the history, the key players, and honestly where things might be heading for what lots of people call the working man's championship.
It's a great title for it.
It is. And our mission today is really to track its journey, right? From the very beginning, the gauntlet, all the way through Wrestle War. We need to understand the momentum, where it sits right now.
Okay, and looking back, it's actually quite a short list of holders for year one.
Very concise, only 3. You had Samuel Parker, the inaugural champ.
Ah, yes, Mr. Undisputed Future.
Right, then Sebastian Wolf, the veteran, and now the current champion, LJ Hernandez.
So let's unpack that, particularly the rivalry that shifted the title from Wolf to LJ. That felt like a big moment.
Huge, but first, you got to start with Parker. You just have to.
Okay, lay it out. The begin.
Samuel Parker
Mm-hmm.
wins the title at the Gauntlet. Technically gifted, no doubt, amateur background, but his whole reign defined by ego, pure uncut arrogance.
That undisputed future of wrestling line. He really believed it, didn't he?
Oh, completely. So the title right from the start wasn't about proving something in the ring. It was like a prop for his self-importance.
Which makes Sebastian Wolf's arrival even more impactful. He dismantled that narrative.
We're totally obliterated it. Wolf didn't just beat him once. He beat him again and again. Remember that 2 out of 3 falls match at Summer Bash?
Definitive. Absolutely shut that chapter down.
Exactly. It wasn't just about winning. It was about ending Parker's whole reign of, well, conceit and establishing something new.
Let's talk about that something new. Wolf style,
Yeah.
British strong style. That fundamentally changed what the championship meant, didn't it?
Oh, 100%. For anyone listening who maybe isn't familiar, Wolf style. It's punishing, hard-hitting strikes, calculated power submissions. He doesn't back down.
Physical. Very physical.
Extremely. He's that honorable veteran type. He literally beat the arrogance out of the title. Showed his grit defending against Caleb Morrison at Fright Night 2. That was a tough one.
So Wolf set this precedent.
Yeah.
You want this belt. You earn it. Physically. Through pain.
Precisely. But then the story needed another layer, right? Pure honor is great, but Wolf's sort of quiet dignity left a vacuum.
And in stepped a very different kind of charisma. LJ Hernandez.
Ah, LJ. His rise is just the perfect contrast. Remember how he started? Under a cloud of controversy, Deshaun Williams hammering on that alleged criminal past.
Trying to paint him as, like,
Yeah.
bad for the brand, using corporate speak against them.
Exactly. The A-listers tried that angle hard, unstable, unfit, but LJ, his resilience, his speed, that lucha libre flair, he turned it all around.
And the fans. They ate it up. He became this massive favorite, almost overnight, it felt like.
That whole dynamic, the people's champ versus the corporate machine, made their clash at Hellbound just electric. LJ earned that shot against Wolf.
And the match itself, the styles.
Yes.
LJ's speed versus Wolf's power, just a fantastic contrast.
It really was. And when LJ won, you felt it in the crowd. It was like the fans themselves had pushed him over the line.
But what really sticks with me and speaks volumes about Wolf is what happened after the match.
Right. That moment.
Wolf didn't just hand over the belt. He gave LJ that line. Getting to the championship is hard.
But being a champion is even harder. Yeah. That wasn't just, sportsmanlike advice. That felt deeper.
It felt like a passing of the torch.
Yeah.
A mentorship.
It really did. Like Wolf was saying, okay, the physical belt is yours, but now you have to protect the honor I brought back to it. It connects LJ directly to that lineage of integrity. Amazing booking, really.
And LJ, he clearly listened. His reign immediately felt different. Focused on elevating the title, taking on the best, putting on killer matches, just like Wolf did.
Look at that first big defense against DJ Yamashita at end of the line. What a match.
Fast-paced, aerial, competitive, brilliant.
And Yamashita's reaction afterwards. Tonight wasn't my night. The better wrestler won. My goal is still winning the U.S. Championship. That's respect. That legitimizes LJ, legitimizes the title itself.
That shared respect, that belief in integrity. It wasn't just in singles matches. It actually forced them together, didn't it?
It did. That bond between LJ and Wolf became crucial. They had to team up with Warlord against the A-listers.
That Shawn Williams, Anthony Hogan, and
Right.
wasn't Mike Hudson involved too?
Yeah, Mike Hudson. But he was just hired muscle, basically, paid by the A-listers for that Riot match at Doomsday.
Ah, the Riot match. Brutal stuff.
Brutal, yeah, but also telling. It was chaos, sure, but it was symbolic. The U.S. title storyline spilling into this, war over RCW's soul. You had the A-listers and their paid mercenary.
Versus LJ Wolf and Warlord fighting for friendship, for honor.
Pretty much. Friendship, loyalty, integrity, whatever you want to call it. And they won. They beat the corporate bloc and the hired gun. It proved that, sometimes the good guys can win.
Which set us up perfectly for Wrestle War. The big one. LJ versus Deshaun Williams. For the title.
The ultimate grudge match. This was the culmination of everything LJ had been through since day one in RCW.
And the history was there. Deshaun had beaten LJ before, remember?
Right.
In that cage match at Brawl Out.
Right. So LJ had that hanging over him. Deshaun wasn't just any challenger. He represented the corporate structure, the backroom deals. He only got that Wrestle War shot because of Hogan pulling strings.
So it was a grassroots champ versus Mr. Corporate. High stakes.
Extremely high. If Deshaun had won, well, the whole meaning of the working man's championship would flip right back to cynical manipulation.
But he didn't. LJ Hernandez retained at Wrestle War. That felt huge. Monumental even.
It absolutely was. He didn't just beat his rival. He cemented his place. He proved he was the champion the fans believed in, and he preserved that integrity Wolf had fought for.
So connecting this to the bigger picture now. LJ navigated year one, but year two, that target on his back just got way bigger.
Oh, yeah. The threats aren't just individual anymore. They seem to be, organizing.
We still have the straightforward challengers, of course. DJ Yamashita, he's made it clear he still wants that belt, even with the royal battle focus.
Definitely one to watch. High flyer, fan favorite himself.
Yep.
And LJ even mentioned maybe facing Rey Munoz down the line.
Ooh, LJ versus Rey Munoz. Lucha Libre dream match right there.
It would be incredible. But Munoz, he seems laser focused on the world title right now, especially after beating Scorpion. He said Wrestle War was just el primer paso, the first step to becoming world champ.
So maybe LJ gets a little breathing room for those top babyface challengers for a bit.
Maybe. But, and this is the big but, the real shakeup, the thing you dedicated fans need to be watching, happened right after Wrestle War.
Okay, what happened?
Get this. The A-listers, Deshaun and Hogan, they're licking their wounds in the physician's room after their losses. Totally frustrated, right? Corporate plan failed.
Yeah, and
who walks in? Samuel Parker?
no, the first U.S. champion, Mr. Undisputed Future.
The very same. Walks in, sees the cameras, tells them to get out, says, we need to talk.
Whoa. Okay, that changes things. Parker with the A-listers.
That's a massive implication, isn't it? What happens when you combine Parker's ego and technical skill with the A-listers' corporate clout and, well, dirty tricks?
You get a super heel faction, aiming squarely at LJ and the U.S. title.
It looks that way. Parker's arrogance, Deshawn's technical ability and ruthlessness, Hogan's connections, that's a dangerous combination. It's a coordinated attack waiting to happen.
Remember, Parker has history with Deshawn and Hudson, too.
Yeah.
They teamed up before Hudson was just taking money. This feels calculated.
Very calculated. LJ and Wolf fought off the A-listers when it was about integrity versus a mercenary now. The threat is potentially Parker wanting his future back, the A-listers wanting control, all aimed at LJ's belt.
So heading into year 2, what does this all mean? LJ proved himself. He beat his rival. He made the title feel important, exciting. But this is different.
It's a whole new level. LJ is a fighting champion, no doubt. He retained against a powerhouse in Deshawn. But the biggest challenge might not be one-on-one anymore. It might be this potential unholy alliance.
Parker, the guy who started it all with ego, possibly joining the corporate schemers he once feuded with, against the guy who represents the fans.
Exactly. You've watched LJ Hernandez bring honor, bring excitement, bring the fans back to the U.S. Championship. He did it through hard work, skill, connecting with you.
But now, can that fan-favorite champion, even with allies like Wolf, withstand a combined assault from 3 of the most self-serving, arrogant, manipulative guys in RCW, all gunning for his gold?
That's the question, isn't it? Is the honor of the working man's championship, is the support of the fans enough to overcome that kind of coordinated power play? You really have to wonder. All right, welcome everyone. If you're tuning in, you're likely an RCW fan, and you know what we need to talk about.
Oh yeah, the Women's Heritage Championship. It's impossible to ignore.
Exactly. That title, that division, it spent the entire first year being, well, the most volatile prize in the whole promotion. So today, we're going to dive deep into that.
It's definitely the place to start. Our mission really is to trace the lineage of this thing. It's been passed around like a hot potato, you know.
Totally.
And it all led up to that absolutely critical moment at Wrestle War. We really need to break down that fatal 4-way elimination match.
Because that match was designed, supposedly, to stop the chaos, right? To finally bring some stability.
That was the idea, after all the turbulence.
And what turbulence? I mean, count them. 6 different champions in the first year. Kelly Styles, Marcella, Kelly again, then Amaya, Linda Bishop, and now Michelle Diaz.
Across just 12 major events.
It's wild. Doesn't that just scream that maybe GM Max Stone kind of lost the handle on the division early, rather than it being, you know, genuine parity?
Well, that's a fair point. I mean, rapid changes can signal depth, but yeah, 6 in a year, that leans more towards instability, structural instability.
Made the title feel less prestigious, maybe. More like a stepping stone for a bit.
I think so, at least until Marcella got her hands on it. She seemed to bring a different focus.
Okay, let's unpack that early part then. The unstable foundation. Kelly Styles, the party girl, she was the inaugural champ, won the gauntlet, kicked it all off.
She did. But almost immediately, like you said, it set the tone. Short reign.
Yeah, and then came Marcella, the technical specialist. She took the belt pretty quickly.
And what's interesting there is that Marcella, well, she's widely credited, even Kelly Styles said it, with actually giving the title some prestige.
Right, she seemed focused on elevating it, demanding, like, technical wrestling from challengers.
Exactly. But that legitimacy she built, it didn't exactly stop the title from changing hands again, did it?
Nope. Kelly Styles got it back at Hellbound. She said she was at her best. Was that just Kelly proving a point, or did it undermine Marcella's work?
Maybe a bit of both. It felt like a temporary step back, maybe, but then, almost immediately, things shifted again.
Towards Amaya.
Right. The arrogant fashionista, but also with technical marvel. She won it from Styles at end of the line. That felt like the division progressing again, moving towards that higher technical standard.
And Amaya's win was huge. She didn't waste any time either. She immediately called out Marcella.
Yeah, saying she should have been the one to beat Marcella, basically ignoring Kelly's reign entirely.
Which tells you who Amaya saw as the real benchmark, right? It was Marcella, not Styles.
Precisely. Amaya was clearly focused on, true technical dominance, but then just when you thought maybe things were settling into a technical battle,
Doomsday happened.
Doomsday happened. And the rookie, Linda Bishop, pulls off this shocking upset against Amaya.
Huge upset. That just shifted everything again. The title jumps from these established veterans, these technicians, to a complete newcomer.
And Linda Bishop, she had that connection she talked about with the women's world champion, Lily Sunshine. Suddenly, she's the fifth woman holding the gold.
And that win, I think, that's what really threw the whole picture into just anarchy.
Yeah.
Because everyone looked at Linda holding the belt and thought...
Vulnerable.
Exactly. Vulnerable, the ultimate statement of it. And that's when the big guns started circling. It forced GM Stone's hand, didn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you had the biggest names showing up.
Right. Like Rebecca Welch, two-time women's world champion, walking in saying, if I can't get the world title shot, give me the heritage title.
That's not just another contender. That's a major name validating the prize, even if it's, maybe a step down for her at that moment.
Then Michelle Diaz arrives, the decorated international star.
And she wasn't asking. She was basically asserting she was owed a title match based on her reputation, her past wins against people like Kelly Styles.
Her whole argument was pretty much, I'm better than everyone here already.
Overly confident, for sure. And then, just to add to the chaos,
Marcella walks in.
Marcella demands her contractually obligated rematch from when she lost to Kelly.
Only problem, Kelly wasn't champion anymore.
Oh, and her contract rematch clause expired.
Pure chaos, bureaucracy meeting ambition. Stone had no choice, really.
He had to throw Linda Bishop, the champ, into the fire with those three. Marcella, Rebecca, Michelle.
The fatal four-way elimination match at Wrestle War. It wasn't just a title defense. It felt like a final exam for the whole division's first year.
Okay, let's get into that match itself. The battle at Wrestle War. 4 incredibly different women fighting for that belt.
You had Linda Bishop, the champ, maybe a bit overwhelmed, but still riding high from her win. Then Marcella, desperate to get back the prestige she felt she built.
Rebecca Welch, the dominant veteran, maybe with a chip on her shoulder, stepping down from the world title picture for this specific prize.
And Michelle Diaz, the international superstar who'd been talking trash about the whole division if she lost. Huge embarrassment if she won. Everything she said was validated instantly.
Massive stakes, and elimination rules mean no flukes where you have to survive. Exactly. And the eliminations themselves, they told the story. Linda Bishop, the reigning champion, she was out first.
Eliminated by Michelle Diaz, using that double knee strike.
And that's key, isn't it? Because we have to remember, Marcella beat Linda with that exact same move before.
Oh, wow. Yeah, good point.
So Diaz wasn't just beating the champ. She was using the move that already symbolized Bishop's vulnerability against, let's say, a higher tier of competitor. It guaranteed a new champion right then and there.
Okay, so Bishop's out. Then the next elimination. This one felt really critical to me. Marcella gets eliminated by Rebecca Welch.
Right, but how she was eliminated.
Welch made her tap out to the bad luck submission.
Which is huge. Marcella, the technical guru, the one who built the title on technical skill, tapping out to someone not primarily known as a submission specialist like that.
Does that kind of devalue the technical foundation she tried to build for the title? Or just show how dominant Welch was that night?
It's interesting. I think maybe it showed Marcella was maybe too focused on her old status, unprepared for Welch's sheer power and, well, that MMA-style aggression.
Welch didn't need fancy technique, just brute force and a painful hold.
Yeah, that tap-out felt like the final nail in the coffin for the Marcella era of that title. It was over.
Okay, so that leaves Welch looking like the undeniable force. Everyone probably thought, okay, Rebecca's walking out with the gold now. 2-time world champ, just made Marcella tap.
But that's when Michelle Diaz showed her strategic side. Opportunistic.
The steel chair.
Yeah. Use the chair on Welch, neutralize the biggest threat, seize the moment, pin, 1, 2, 3. Michelle Diaz becomes the 6th Women's Heritage Champion.
She won it through cunning, through violence, but ultimately she beat 3 top names in one night. It legitimized all that talk beforehand.
Absolutely. A totally decisive way to end the chaos and crown a new dominant figurehead.
So let's talk about that aftermath, because Michelle Diaz immediately started setting a new tone.
Even visually, right? At the post-Wrestle War press conference, Diaz shows up. Navy blue tailored pantsuit, Louis Vuitton heels.
Projecting pure corporate control, basically. Business.
And you contrast that with Lily Sunshine, the women's world champion, who was there in, like, a bright yellow floral sundress.
It was a statement. Diaz was signaling the Heritage Championship wasn't a party anymore. It wasn't just a technical showcase. It was an asset, a business.
And her words back it up. When they asked about chasing Lily in the world title, she basically said her goal is not to chase after championships, but to hold the championship that everyone is chasing after.
That's a massive shift in philosophy for that title, isn't it? She's not looking up immediately. She wants to make her title the one everyone obsesses over.
Elevate her prize first. Make it the center of the division.
Right.
But, she's smart. She also admitted she started taking notes on Lily Sunshine right away.
So the long-term goal is still probably the world title, but only after she cements her dominance over the Heritage Division. Makes sense.
Exactly. Lock down her territory first.
And the reactions from the women she beat, they're setting up the big stories for year 2, aren't they?
For sure. Rebecca Welch, obviously not happy about the chair shot, but she gave Diaz respect. Said she earned my respect, but that respect comes with a cost. I'll see you again, champ.
That's a feud right there. Respectful but intense, built on wanting to win cleanly.
Definitely brewing. Then you've got Linda Bishop, just heartbroken, empty-handed. Seems like she's got a long road back after that brief taste of glory.
Yeah, poor Linda. But the most interesting reaction, maybe, was Marcella's.
Oh, yeah. After being forced to tap out, she just declared the Heritage Championship old news. Said she's going straight for Lily Sunshine and the women's world title.
Which, in a way, kind of validates Diaz's reign even more, right? Marcella's basically saying, this division is beneath me now. I'm looking higher.
Precisely. So we've gone from total chaos, the title flipping constantly, to it being the undisputed property of Michelle Diaz. Dominant, technical, strategic, maybe a little vicious.
Yeah, RCW Year 2 kicks off with a clear hierarchy in that division. Diaz is the ruler. Rebecca Welch is the clear, motivated challenger driven by respect and that cost.
And the former champs. Either neutralized like Linda, or they've moved on like Marcella, effectively conceding the territory to Diaz.
It really feels like the end of that first chaotic chapter and the start of something new. An era of maybe high-stakes dominance with Diaz at the top. She beat 3 major contenders, including a 2-time world champ, to get there.
Which brings us to the big question for everyone listening, for you RCW fans. Michelle Diaz won through strategy, through elimination, through focus. Her goal is control, elevation.
Right.
So who on the current roster, someone maybe outside that Wrestle War 4-way, who is best positioned to actually challenge her focus, to potentially drag her reign back into that chaos the title was known for?
Yeah. Who's the wild card? Is it someone unpredictable like Willow the Witch? Maybe a hard hitter like Jackie Blade? Or the ever-erratic Shelley Clark?
Or do we wait for a familiar face? Could Kelly Styles come back and try to reclaim the title she started with, try to disrupt Diaz's control?
That choice of next challenger, whoever steps up first, that's going to define this new chapter for the Women's Heritage Championship, isn't it? Who can crack the code of Michelle Diaz?
That's the million-dollar question heading into year 2. Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so Wrestle War, it's done. The biggest night in RCW history is kind of behind us now.
Yep, dust settling.
But for you, the real fans, this isn't downtime, right? This is when things get, really interesting planning season.
Oh, absolutely. Every champ now has that bullseye painted right on them. The whole hierarchy just resets.
Totally. The big spectacle's over, and now it's the grind building the next year.
Exactly. And today, we're narrowing our focus hard. We're diving deep into the Women's World Championship.
Okay.
We need to look at how the champs survived Wrestle War, and maybe more importantly, who's lining up to take her out next. Because, wow, that list is stacked.
And the champ still holding on, somehow fueled by, sheer joy. It's Lily Sunshine. She beat Black Rose at Wrestle War. Huge defense. Women's Royal Rumble winner, no less.
Brutal match. Absolutely brutal.
But here's the question, the one we have to ask. Did winning that match take too much out of her? Is the tank, nearing empty already?
Well, let's unpack Lily's reign a bit, because it's always been kind of controversial, right? Full of question marks.
Yeah.
She won the title back at Royal Battle, taking it off Brittany Ali, a 2-time women's world champion.
And that context is just critical, because right away people were saying, oh, it wasn't legit.
Right.
Ali had already wrestled that night.
Yeah.
In the Rumble. So, yeah, the narrative was baked in. Ali was worn down. Lily got lucky.
Definitely put an asterisk next to it for a lot of people, a huge asterisk.
Yeah.
And that's a shaky start for a champion who's already, let's face it, kind of different. This childlike, joyful thing she does.
Disarming.
Very. And her style in the ring is just unpredictable.
Yeah.
Plus, and this is wild, she only has about 3 years of experience.
Only 3 years. You compare that to the veterans she's up against.
The odds always look stacked against her, astronomically.
But you got to give her credit. She fought off the doubters. Remember Doomsday against Ashley Angel?
Oh, yeah, the submission specialist.
Exactly. Lily showed she wasn't just chaos and luck. She could hang with a technical master, outlast them even.
There's her resilience, you see, and that childlike thing. It's actually maybe her best weapon.
How so?
Well, think about it. Veterans like Ali or Angel, they study tape, right? They look for patterns. But Lily, she doesn't really stick to patterns. She forces them into her chaos.
Okay. So she drags them out of their comfort zone.
Precisely. And they hate it. It's brilliant, really, psychologically.
She definitely needed all that resilience for Wrestle War. Black Rose.
Yeah.
That was a whole different kind of challenge. Pure destruction.
Black Rose is just a powerhouse. Total powerhouse. 8 years experience.
Came into the Rumble late, number 18, cleaned house, earned that shot fair and square.
And her whole vibe is just anger, aggression, pure heel. She wasn't subtle about it. Said she was there to, quote, kill and destroy the hopes and dreams of every woman on this roster.
Chilling, and she called out Lily directly after Royal Battle. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. If Lily is still champion come Wrestle War, prepare for the sunshine to end and dark days to begin. Something like that.
Exactly. So you had this ultimate clash, right? Joy versus darkness, unpredictable rookie versus stern, angry powerhouse.
And Lily survived. She retained. That proved she can take the punishment, absorb it, and still find a way to win against someone like Rose.
But back to my first question. How much did that cost her?
That's the million-dollar question. You don't wrestle Black Lives and just walk away fine. Physically, mentally, there's a toll. So Lily might have the belt, but everyone watching, especially those veterans, they see weakness, they see wear and tear, and they smell blood in the water.
Yeah, if she thought Wrestle War earned her a breather, nope, not happening.
Yeah, the chance.
The division stacked, maybe more than ever, and that target on her back just got enormous. Because now they think she's vulnerable.
Right. Let's talk about who's circling the established names first.
You got to start with Brittany Ali.
Absolutely. She still feels that title loss was, well, unfair, the double duty thing.
And she looked absolutely dominant at Wrestle War. That ambulance match against Sarah Kay, brutal.
Showed her focus. And what did she say right after? I will do anything to get back the Women's World Championship. Crystal clear.
Plus, she's mentioned wanting both belts before, right? World and Heritage.
Yeah, that's her ultimate goal, holding both. What does that signify, really?
Total domination, like owning the whole division.
Exactly. It's saying, I am the past, the present, and the future. It's peak ambition. And that ambition, it's aimed right at Lily Sunshine.
Okay, so Ollie's a huge threat. Then there's Rebecca Welch.
2-time former world champ. That intense MMA submission style, very disciplined.
She seemed pretty frustrated leading up to Wrestle War, didn't she? Couldn't get that world title shot.
Right. Ended up in that Heritage Fatal 4-Way. Tough match. Elimination rules.
So what's the read there? Is that like a demotion for her? Or just desperation to stay relevant?
I'd argue desperation. She didn't win the Heritage title, no, but just being in that match, fighting like hell, it shows she's not giving up on getting back to the top.
She refuses to be seen as anything less than main event.
Exactly. And she probably looks at Lily and thinks, okay, that's my shortcut back to the world title picture. An easier target, maybe, in her mind.
That's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the biggest, most immediate threat isn't a former world champ. It's the brand new Women's Heritage champion, Michelle Diaz.
Michelle Diaz, yes. She is a potential game changer. Completely.
Game changer. What makes her different?
Okay, where to start? She's considered, like, genuinely one of the best women's wrestlers of her generation, period.
Wow.
12 years experience, third-generation wrestler, so it's in her blood. Youngest ever Joshi Japan World Cup winner. Highly, highly technical.
Okay, hold on. Joshi Japan World Cup. Why is that a big deal? For maybe the more casual fan listening.
It means she's elite on a global scale.
Yeah.
That tournament is all about technical skill, precision, adapting to different styles. Winning that means you're world class, truly.
So she's not just an RCW star.
Not at all.
Yeah.
She's proven herself against the best internationally. Now, put that technician in the ring with Lily Sunshine?
Total opposites. Precision versus chaos.
Exactly. And Diaz isn't exactly hiding her intentions, is she?
No. Right after winning the Heritage title, what was she talking about?
Lily.
Lily. Said she was watching Lily's match at the press conference, taking notes.
Taking notes. And then she drops that line, I have beaten your current women's world champion, Brittany Ali, before she came to RCW.
Oof. That's a statement.
Pure arrogance, but it's calculated. She's positioning herself as superior, not just to Lily, but to Ollie, too, establishing dominance before she even challenges.
So when she says the heritage title is her priority?
You don't buy it for a second. No way. She keeps calling the world title the one everyone is chasing after.
Yeah, that kind of gives it away.
It tells you everything. Heritage is a stepping stone. Lily is just keeping her spot warm. That's how Diaz sees it. And with her technical skills, she might be the toughest matchup for Lily's style.
Okay, so we've got the veterans, Ali and Welch, hungry for redemption. We've got the technical master, Diaz, basically calling her shot. Who else? There's Axty, Baby Babe. That whole situation's weird.
Very weird. And potentially very dangerous. She lost again at Wrestle War, right? To Willow the Witch. Another big loss for her.
Yeah, the Money in the Bank, cash-in failure, other title losses.
Yeah.
It's been rough.
And then she's seen leaving with Willow afterwards.
Chip blocks.
A turn, right. Embracing the dark side, maybe? After all the failures, maybe the happy-go-lucky thing is done.
Okay, but if she does turn, becomes darker, why does that suddenly make her a world title threat again? She's still lost a lot.
Because desperation changes everything. The old Baby Babe relied on crowd energy, maybe played to the fans too much. It didn't get her the gold.
Right.
A darker, maybe more sinister, reinvented version. She wouldn't care about the fans. She'd be unpredictable in a whole new way. Calculated cruelty instead of just energy.
And Lily, who feeds off joy and positivity.
Exactly. How does Lily deal with someone embracing pure darkness? Someone maybe willing to do anything because they've hit rock bottom and feel they have nothing left to lose.
It's a classic wrestling story arc, right? Character reinvention after failure. Makes her a total wild card. Man. Okay, so let's try and bring this all together for you listening.
Yeah.
Lily Sunshine. 3 years in, unexpected champ, survives Black Rose. But she's heading into year 2, potentially hurt,
Wounded, yeah.
and facing this absolute murderer's row of challengers.
It's a critical time. You've got Ollie and Welch, former champs, who think Lily's reign is basically a fluke, a placeholder. You've got Michelle Diaz, the technical wizard, who's openly scouting her, looking for weaknesses, smelling weakness.
And potentially a completely changed Baby Babe lurking, driven by failure.
Right. Every single one of them probably believes that women's world title needs a more, let's say, traditional, dominant champion holding it. And they all likely see Lily as the obstacle they need to remove to restore that order, maybe the easiest obstacle.
So understanding all these connections, these motivations, that's key for following RCW of the next year.
Good.
This women's division is going to be explosive.
Absolutely. Every week could bring fireworks. Which leads us, I guess, to the big final thought for you to chew on.
Lay it on us.
Okay, so you have the heritage champ, Diaz, already taking notes publicly. You have Ali and Welch, former world champs, explicitly stating they want that belt back, pointing to Lily's inexperience. So the question is, can Lily Sunshine, the childlike, joyful champion, actually overcome all this? Can she solidify herself as the true long-term face of this division? Or, when we look back, will she just be seen as like a transitional champ, a brief chaotic moment before a veteran inevitably took the title back and restored that, traditional dominance? That's the story. That's what we're all waiting to see unfold. Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so if you're listening, you're probably like us, still buzzing after Wrestle War. Just a massive, massive event.
Absolutely. It really flipped the script on a lot of things in RCW.
Totally. And today, our mission really is to dig into maybe the most talked about part of the fallout, the Men's World Championship.
Yeah, that title picture is, well, it's something else right now, especially
Right.
with King back on top.
Exactly. We want to map out King's new reign, look at who's gunning for him now as we head into year 2.
And, for you listening, it's not just who has the belt, but think about how often it's changed hands already. That history is key.
Oh, absolutely. Year 1 was just relentless for that title.
Right. We started with Scorpion, the first ever champ.
Yeah.
Then King won it. Then Eddie Butcher took it from him.
Then that chaotic short run from Brody Wade.
Yeah, the anarchist himself.
Yeah.
And now,
Yeah.
King again.
Right.
That's 5 champions.
5. In just the first year, it's kind of staggering.
It tells you a lot, doesn't it? Instability, sure, but also just how incredibly stacked the top of the card is. No one's safe up there.
No dominant year-long reigns yet. It's just constant pressure.
Yeah.
And, well, that volatility really leads us to the core thing we need to unpack. That crazy 3-way feud that dominated the end of the season.
King, Eddie Butcher, and Brody Wade. That whole dynamic.
Exactly. You can't understand where we are without looking at how we got here.
Right. So let's rewind a bit. Remember, King was the guy for a good chunk of the year, but then Eddie Butcher showed up and just changed everything.
Hellbound. That was the turning point, wasn't it? Butcher beats King for the title. Huge shocker at the time.
Massive. And then he didn't just fluke it. He beat King again in the rematch at End of the Line. Cleanly.
So heading into that royal battle, Doomsday period, Butcher was legitimately 2-0 against King. That's huge.
It really is. He wasn't just champ. He'd proven he could handle King, maybe even had his number, you know. He looked like the undeniable top dog.
But while King's trying to figure out Butcher, you had this other force emerging.
Brody Wade,
Yeah.
the wild card, the anarchist.
He wasn't about proving he was the best wrestler. He was about disruption, pure chaos.
Yeah, and he'd had his eye on that title before. Remember, he actually beat Butcher way back before Money in the Bank for a #1 contendership spot.
Oh, right. But then King beat him at Money in the Bank, so he lost that shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But leading up to Doomsday, his tactics just got darker, more vicious.
Yeah, malicious is a good word for it. Because after King won the Royal Rumble at Royal Battle,
Earning his Wrestle War shot fair and square.
Wade didn't challenge Butcher, he ambushed him.
Right. The brass knuckles, after Butcher's match, just laid him out. Knocked out, busted open, the whole deal.
That wasn't about earning anything. That was about taking pure opportunism.
And it worked. He faces Butcher at Doomsday. Obviously, Butcher isn't 100%. And Wade wins the World Championship.
And then that visual, smearing blood, probably Butcher's blood, maybe his own, who knows, onto the title belt.
Declaring, let anarchy reign.
Yeah.
Chills. It wasn't about prestige for him, it felt like.
Yeah.
Like defiling the championship itself.
Turning it into this symbol of
Yeah.
chaos, yeah. So suddenly, King wins the Rumble. He's expecting his big Wrestle War moment against Butcher. Finally get that win back.
And bam. The champion is now Brody Wade, the guy who cheated his way there.
The history was just too tangled up between the three of them, wasn't it? King needing to beat Butcher, Wade having screwed them both over.
It had to be a triple threat Wrestle War. There was no other way to settle it.
And Wade, being Wade, spent the weeks leading up trying to play mind games, get King and Butcher focused on tearing each other apart so he could sneak through.
Classic chaos strategy. Smart in a twisted way. He didn't need to be the strongest, just the most manipulative.
Which leads us to the Wrestle War main event itself. King walks out the two-time champion. But the way he won, that's crucial.
Oh, absolutely. The finish tells the story. King regained the World Championship by pinning Brody Wade.
Not Eddie Butcher, he pinned the guy who had just stolen the title.
And that detail, that's something you really need to focus on. If he pins Butcher, it's full redemption, right? He finally beats the guy he couldn't beat before.
Yeah, it closes that chapter.
But pinning Wade, he gets the title back, gets it off the anarchist, sure, but he avoids that definitive showdown with Butcher. That question still hangs in the air.
So was that strategy? Did King see Wade as the easier pin, maybe? Save the Butcher fight for another day, on his terms.
It certainly looks that way when you hear what he said after the match. His post-match promo was very telling.
Okay, yeah, let's break that down. He was pretty clear about Wade.
Total disdain. Said something like, I had respect for Butcher, with you I have none. Just spitting venom. That's fuel for Wade right there.
But the really interesting part was what he said to Butcher, or, well, about Butcher.
Right. He acknowledged the respect, but then he laid down the law. Butcher has to start at the bottom again and earn an opportunity at my World Championship.
Wow. So King isn't the challenger anymore. He's the king on the throne, dictating terms. That's a big attitude shift.
It's huge. He's trying to build that legacy, be the dominant champion. But telling Butcher, the guy who beat him twice, to go to the back of the line, that feels maybe arrogant, a bit risky.
It definitely gives Butcher immediate motivation, right? Like, oh, you think I have to earn it? Watch me.
Exactly. Massive tactical gamble by King, potentially. And while he's dismissing Butcher...
The guy he actually did pin, Wade, showed something incredible in that match.
Yeah, this is maybe the other big takeaway from Wrestle War. Wade kicked out of the King Lariat multiple times.
Which, that just doesn't happen. Ever. That move is King's finisher. It's lights out.
It's his one-shot kill, basically. Won him his first title, ends matches. For Wade to survive it not once, but multiple times, that elevates Wade even in defeat.
So Wade lost the title fast, yeah, but he proved he's on that level. He's unbelievably tough, maybe even psychologically hard to break.
Exactly. So King starts year 2, he's champ again.
Yeah.
But he just basically dared the guy who owned him earlier in the year to come back stronger. And he just found out the chaotic guy he pinned is almost impossible to put down for good.
He's surrounded by sharks from day one.
And the pool's getting deeper. It's not just Butcher and Wade anymore. We saw other guys step up at Wrestle War.
Let's talk about them. Let's say, the legitimate single contenders first.
Okay, Rey Munoz. Huge Wrestle War performance.
Beating Scorpion, the first ever world champion. That's not just a win, that's a statement.
Absolutely puts him right in that top contender mix. And he knew it too.
Yeah.
Straight after the match, he laid it out there.
Yeah, the Spanish promo. Este fue solo el primer paso.
This was only the first step to becoming RCW World Champion. Crystal clear. He's coming for the gold. He beat the benchmark.
And Scorpion. He took the loss, seemed okay with it, but...
Yeah, but that warning. Our paths will cross again.
Yeah.
Scorpion's always lurking, isn't he? A loss probably just refocuses him. He sees that title as his destiny.
So Munoz and Scorpion, they represent that pure athletic challenge. They'll climb the ladder, fight for it.
Right. But then you've got this other development. Something more political, maybe?
Ah, yeah. The A-listers. And Samuel Parker.
This throws a whole different kind of wrench into the works. Because you have Deshaun Williams.
He's had 2 shots at the world title already, right? Lost to King at Summer Bash, lost to Butcher at Royal Battle.
Yeah, he's clearly getting frustrated. He can't seem to break through that ceiling on his own.
And the report said he and Anthony Hogan, his partner, were backstage after Wrestle War, complaining about their losses.
And then Samuel Parker walks in. Says they need to talk privately about solutions.
Parker. Okay, he's interesting. Calls himself the undisputed future, super arrogant, inaugural U.S. champ. But he's kind of stalled in the mid-card lately too, right? Losing title matches.
Exactly. So why link up with the A-listers, who are basically seen as talented but maybe underachieving heels?
Power in numbers. Trying a different route to the top.
I think that's exactly it. Parker sees himself as main event material, world championship material. But maybe the direct route, the athletic climb, isn't working for him right now.
So align with guys who also feel overlooked, use their combined influence, maybe bend some rules, get a title shot through leverage instead of just wins and losses.
It raises that question, doesn't it? If Parker and the A-listers somehow manipulate their way to the title, what does that do to the championship's meaning? Does it become tainted?
That's a great contrast setting up year 2. You've got the Warriors, Butcher, Wade, Munoz, Scorpion ready to fight for it. And then you've got this potential faction, Parker and the A-listers may be trying to scheme their way there.
How does King deal with that? He's all about dominance in the ring. Can he handle backstage politics? That's a totally different battlefield for him.
So, summing it all up, King's back on top, 2-time champ, got through that Wrestle War chaos, but man, the target on his back is huge now.
Bigger than ever, I'd say. You've got the immediate threats, Butcher, furious about being dismissed, Wade, now proven almost indestructible.
Plus the new blood stepping up, like Munoz, full of momentum. And Scorpion, always a factor.
And now this shadow faction with Parker potentially pulling strings. It's a much tougher landscape than his first reign.
Definitely deeper. And by pinning Wade, but then immediately calling out Butcher and telling him to start over, King kind of engineered his own nightmare scenario, didn't he?
He really did. He basically ensured the 2 most dangerous guys in RCW, the 2 former champs he just dealt with, are coming for him hard, and they won't care about his rules.
So the big question for you listening as we head into year 2, King made enemies of both Butcher and Wade instantly. Who gets to him first?
Is it Butcher? The powerhouse, the guy with the history, now massively motivated by disrespect.
Or is it Wade, the anarchist, the chaos agent, the guy who just proved he can take King's absolute best shot and keep coming?
Whoever forces King to really fight to keep that throne first, that's going to set the whole tone for the next chapter of RCW.
Yeah, King put a lot of pressure on himself right out of the gate. Can't wait to see how he handles it.
Me neither. It's going to be fascinating.
All right, that's our deep dive for today. We'll catch you next time.